Welcome to ICSE Computer Application Class 10 100 Marks. I am Ganga Devi and in this video we will be discussing about functions. Functions are an important topic in ICSE board exam. In section A, at least 2 questions will be coming from the topic function and section B also carry one program from this topic. So we will be discussing definition of a function, types of a function, call by reference, call by value, overloading function, actual parameter and formal parameter, and all the important details of the topic in this video. So before starting the video, I request those who haven't subscribed till now, please subscribe it. And in the end, if you understand the concept and like the video, don't forget to like it. Now we can define a function. Function is a group of executable statements to carry out a specific work. For example, to input a number and find the cube of the number, to find the sum of two numbers, to check whether the number is prime number or not. According to the question, we can create a function and the desired result will be the output. So function can have an input and an output. But it is not compulsory, always the input and output will be there. Now we can discuss the advantages of a function. Functions can be reused again and again without rewriting the code. One time you write the code and any number of times the particular function can be called in a program according to program question. So it will help the reusability, that means again and again using the code. And function help to divide complex programs into manageable code blocks. A very big program or a complex program can be made into a function and the program length can be reduced and difficulty level also can be reduced because we are dividing the program into smaller parts. And it helps us in understanding the flow of the programs and it helps debugging of the code easier. We are dividing the program into smaller parts, so if any mistake is there, it will be easy to find the mistake from the smaller parts and correct the error. The type of function. Two types of functions are there, predefined and user-defined. Predefined functions are available with the programming language being used, and user-defined functions created by the user to carry out a specific work. According to the programming language, the predefined function will be available. For example, we have done the mat.sqrt, concat function and substring function in string. So these are the predefined which are already written in the compiler, Java compiler we can say, and we are just accessing the function, not creating it. User defined, one example I have given here. We are creating a function called add which will accept two numbers, find the sum and return the value. So this type of functions we are creating. Otherwise we can say the user is creating, so it is known as user defined functions. Now we can see how the first line of the function is created. One example, I have taken the main program. Here we can see public static void main. Main is the name of the function and if there is no return type, void will be coming. So according to this, just see this line. Public static int product int a, int b, int c. In this case, product is the function and the arguments are coming in bracket. How many numbers we are accepting and what type of numbers we are accepting is coming in the bracket. And return type, that means this function will return an integer value. So here we can see, and public and static are optional. Here public is the access specifier which will decide how the particular program or class can be accessed by outside classes. And static is the modifier, int is the return type, name of the function is given product, and arguments or parameters are int a, int b and int. So what is an access specifier? Access specifier control access to a member or variables within the class in a Java program. It will set how the particular class can be accessed by other classes in the package. So three types of access specifiers are there: public, private and protected. Public class means the particular class can be accessed by all the other classes in the package. Private class cannot be accessed by any other class, not even the child class. So no other class can access the private class. And if you define a class as protected, the particular class can be accessed by the child or inherited class and the members can be used by them. Now, modifiers are the keywords that you add to those definitions to change their meaning. For example, in the main program, we are using public static void main, and static is the modifier. So, static modifier is used for creating a class function and variables. And final modifier in which variables values cannot be changed. For example, final int a is equal to 5. In the entire program, a's value will remain 5. We cannot change it. And the other modifiers are abstract, synchronized, native, volatile, and transient. But this is not in the ICC code, so we will not be discussing them. Now we can discuss the most used keywords in Java function, return and void. Java return keyword is used to complete the execution of a program and return the value to the calling function. If you want to return any kind of value, mainly the primitive data types we are returning. So if you want to return int, float, double character, any kind of value, then we will be using the return keyword to return the value to the main program. And the value depends on the method return type, just whatever we are discussing, declaring in the program. And now the three main points to remember. Return keyword is used to exit from the method. It is not allowed to use the return keyword in a void method, and the value passed with the return keyword must match with the return type of the method. And now the void return type means the function will not return a value to the calling function. And after using void, if you try to return a value to the main program or calling function, an error will occur and program will not compile. Now we can see how to create our own function or user-defined function in Java. Example, we can take public static void main int a, int b. By seeing this function, we can understand the function name is main and it is accepting 2 integer number. So now we can create a function. Suppose we have to find the product of 3 numbers. For this purpose, we need the input. 3 numbers we need the input, and we will define the body of the function. For example, int d is equal to a into b into c, and send back the answer to the calling function or main program. So in Java format, how to write this? First of all, we can write the function name according to question. So product. And now the arguments. Here we are accepting 3 integer number. Arguments will come on the right hand side. So int a, int b, int c. Don't write int a, b, c. It will be wrong. Full data format you have to write. And now the function body. Here we have declared a variable int d. Find the product a into b into c and return d. That means answer is going back to the main program or calling function. So int d, that means int is going back. So here int will be coming. If d is float, here float will be returned. So this is the way how to create a function. And public static is optional. Even if you don't write, the public function will be treated as a public. Now we can see how to write the function if the function is not returning any value. For example, product of 3 numbers, same example we are taking. Input is 3 number, function body will be defined, but answer will be printed in the program. It will not return the value. So for this, write the function first line prototype. First line of the function is known as function prototype. We will be discussing this question later. So function name is here. It will accept 3 numbers, int a, b and c. And then function body, we can see it will find the product of 3 numbers a into b into c and printing the value. We are not returning the value in this case. We are printing the answer. So if no return type is there, here the void will come here. If no return type, void will be coming here. And if we are returning the int, then int will come. And no return type means void. And as already told, public static is optional. And now with the same example, we can write in one more format. Suppose the function is there. We are assigning the 3 values. That means a is equal to 5. Here we can see we are assigning the values and not accepting any arguments and not returning any arguments. So here product function name is here. And in this case, we are not accepting any arguments. We are just assigning a is to b is 5 and c is to 10 and finding the product and printing the value. So no accepting values. That means empty bracket will be here, and no return type, that means void will be here. So like this we can write the prototype of any program according to the question. We can see what is function prototype. Function prototype is the first line of the function definition that tells the program about the type of the value returned by the function and name of the function and number and type of arguments. Take this example check. The name of the function is check. It is accepting two integer values and returning an integer number. So the first line describes what is the name, arguments and return type, and it is known as function prototype. And now function signature. Function signature is the name of the function along with its arguments. Here we can see check int a, int b. The function signature also specifies the type of the arguments which are accepted. Now we can discuss how to write the function prototype for the function. This is an important question in board exam, and every year at least one question is asked in section A. So the first question, function name called check, which will accept an integer number and return a character variable. So how to write we can see now. The function name is check and arguments are coming on the right hand side. INDA which accept an integer and return a character variable. Return type is character, so that will come on the left hand side. So CHAR check INDA. Now the second question, function name called study which will accept a float variable and a character variable and return a double value. So here we can see the answer. Study accepting a float and a character. The data types will be separated by the comma and return value is double, which will come on the left hand side. Third question, function name called triangle which will accept a double value and a string and return nothing. So here we can see the answer. Return nothing means void will come. Function name is triangle and accepting a double and a string value. So void triangle double D comma string A. Some more example we can discuss. Function name called postchar which will accept a short and a character and return true or false. True or false means it is boolean, and accept on the right hand side short a comma character ch. So boolean postchar short a character ch. One more thing keep in mind, in the function prototype never put the semicolon. Function definition in the first line also never put the semicolon. Next example, function name called provide which will accept nothing and return a sentence. Return a sentence means return type is string, and accept nothing, that means the brackets will be empty. So string provide with empty brackets. Function name called search, accept a float and string and return nothing. So return nothing is void, void search in bracket float f and string x. Function name called find which will accept nothing and return nothing. So accept nothing means bracket also will be empty and return type is nothing, that means return type is void. Function name called straw, accept sentence and a word. Sentence means it is also string and word is also string. So accept a sentence and a word and return 1 or 0. 1 or 0 it is integer number. So function will be int straw. Return type is 1 or 0, that means int, and string a sentence string and word is also string. And the last question, function name called search which will accept boolean variable and return 1 or 0. So here we can see int search boolean b. So hope you understood the concept how to write the prototype and you can write properly in the exam. Now we can discuss about the two categories of functions in Java, pure function and impure. Here we can see the difference between the pure and impure function. Pure function will not change or modify the state of the arguments or variables that are received by the function. And impure function will change the state or value of the argument that is received. And pure function, the result of the pure function depends on the arguments or values that is received. And impure function, the result will not depend upon the arguments or values that is received. So we can understand the pure function and impure function with an example. Here definition I have written once again, you can see pure function does not modify the argument it will just access the value or the variables. So it is also known as accessor methods. So pure function or accessor method means, here one example is here, function name is sum, accepting a and b, that means two values it is accepting. This function will not change the value of a or b, it will just access or use the variable. int c is equal to a plus b, it is using the variable and return c and returning the value. C is int, so here int will come. So pure function access the variables but will not change the original variable. And now impure function. Impure function modify the original state of the values inputted. It is also known as mutator function. It mutes the original value, so also known as mutator function. Here again the same prototype I have written a and b. Here if a is 10, here we are saying a is equal to a plus 5. That means the original value is changed and b's value is also changed. So if we are changing the value of the variable which are accepted, it is known as an impure function. Now, passing the parameter. Passing a parameter means making the value available in one part of the program or function to another part of the program. So one part of the program will be sending the value and the second part or the function will be receiving the value. And this concept is very important in object-oriented programming. And we are having two types of parameters, actual parameter and formal parameter. First, we can discuss the difference and then we can see the example. Actual parameters are those parameters which appear in the function called statement, and formal parameters are those parameters which appear in the function definition statement. So actual means from the main program and formal means from the function. And actual parameters are passed to the call by the calling function and formal parameters are in the called function. Actual parameters send the value and formal parameter receive the value. Here we can discuss with an example. In this case, the function name is sum and it is having two parameters x and y. So the values in the parameters in the function, they are known as formal parameter. And now we can see what is actual parameter. Here the main program is here. We are having two numbers a and b. And main function is calling the function sum and sending the values of a and b. Suppose we are having a5 and b10. 5 will be going and stored in x and 10 will be going and stored in y. So we are sending the values from the main program. So they are known as actual parameter and the function is receiving the value in x and y. So int x and int y are the formal parameter, whereas int a and b are the actual parameter. Now how to invoke a function. The process of calling a method in a program is known as calling the function or invoking the function. Functions can be invoked by either call by value or call by reference. First of all, we can discuss the difference between call by value and call by reference. Primitive data types are passed to the function by using call by value, whereas non-primitive or reference data types are passed by call by reference. That means int, float, double, all the 8 primitive types, if you want to pass it to a function, we will be using call by value, and non-primitive just like array, object, interface, we will be using call by reference. And the changes made in the formal parameter or made in the function will not affect the main program in call by value, whereas the changes made in the formal arguments or variables will be reflected in the actual parameter or main program in call by reference. So primitive data types in call by value, non-primitive in call by reference. Second difference, any change made in the function value variable, it will not be reflected in main program, and in call by reference it will be reflected in the main program. We can have one example program for call by value and call by reference. In this example, the function name is product. It is accepting two values a and b, and the values are actually coming from the main program. Here double a is 5 and b is 2, and we are calling the function ob product a comma b, and we are sending the values to function product. And in the function we are changing the values a is equal to a plus b. That means if a is 5, 5 plus 2, that means 7 will be in a, and b is equal to b plus 15. 2 plus 15, that means 17 will come in b. So here inside the function, if we are printing, the changed values will be coming. But when we print, after calling the function also, when we print in the main program, the original values will be coming. That is 5 and 2 will be coming in call by value. And now in call by reference, we can pass object, arrays or interface. In this example, I am passing an object. Here I have created the object for the class ABC. ABC OB is equal to new ABC, and by calling the function change the name of the function, we are sending the object. int data is declared here. So I am sending the object and we are changing the value in the of the data type. OB1 data is equal to OB1 data plus 100 according to the function. So here the value is changed. So in call by reference, if the value is changed inside a function, that change will be reflected in the main program also. So when you print, you can see the answer before change. Here we have done before change, it is 500, and after calling the function, it will be 600. So call by value, if you make any change in the function, it will not be reflected in the main program. But in call by reference, if you make any change, it will be reflected in the main program. And the last topic in function theory, it is function overloading. Polymorphism in object-oriented programming is implemented in Java through function overloading. Poly means many and morpha means shape. That means many shapes. So polymorphism, as you already know, it is one thing in many forms. So we can say function overloading means many functions with one name or same name. So many functions will be there with the same name, and the functions are differentiated with the arguments or parameters accepted. So we can see the example of function overloading. I have created the function product. We are having three functions with the same name. The first function, it is accepting two integer numbers. Second function, it is accepting one integer number, and the last one double value. So the function name is same but differentiated by the function arguments. And if the function name is same with different arguments, it is known as function overloading. Hope you have understood the concept of function thoroughly. If you like the video, please like it. And in the next video, we will be discussing the programs of function. So don't forget to watch that video also. And those who have not subscribed till now, please subscribe it. And see you all in the next video.